Speaking of decent games, I finished up Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer, featuring The Legend of Zelda.
Is that
Um,
actually what it's called?
that is the full name of the scam. Um,
Sounds like a goth album.
yeah, actually, it sounds like a follow up to a Castlevania game. Um,
Mm,
Cadence of Belmont. Um,
Belmont's Dawn.
yeah, I finished that up over the weekend, and that is a really, really, really good game. Um, it is. It's just as much of a like legitimate Legend of Zelda game as it is a Crypt of the Necrodancer game. Which, if you're not familiar with Crypt of the Necrodancer, this is a game that was a like a more in line of a roguelike. This is a little bit of a roguelike, but it's not quite as intense, let's say, in its rogue mechanics. But so Crypt of the Necrodancer is this game where the combat is all based around rhythm. So you can only move in accordance with the beat of whatever song is playing at the time. And there's like a little on-screen indicator about that shows you where your beat is, but you really don't really want to be paying attention to that too much. You want to get in the groove, so to speak, with the actual with listening to the music and stuff like that. Um, and so you hop around on these tiles in the world, and you don't even really attack. You move your character into an enemy in order to attack it. Again, on the beat. And all of the enemies are also moving in a set pattern in accordance with the beat as well. So, basically, once the screen starts, they'll start jumping around, and you follow their patterns, and you figure out the best way to position yourself in order to take them out. It's a very active combat system. Like it's kind of like keeps your attention pretty much 100% of the time, more than just like say like a hack and slash where you're just hitting the button over and over and until the enemy dies or something like that. And this combat style is just pretty much overlaid on top of a 2D Legend of Zelda game. Um, and and all of the music is, of course, is remixed tracks from the Legend of Zelda series. So there's like the main theme, there's the Gerudo Valley theme, there's the Lost Woods, there's Death Mountain, everything that you've heard over the years and all like different iterations in each of the Legend of Zelda games is remixed here with kind of an emphasis on the beat. Like there's more like synths added in and drums and stuff like that in order to give you a sense of when you're supposed to be moving and stuff like that. But the remixes are super excellent. Like I'd say stand pretty much on par with the actual original Nintendo tracks in most cases. Um, and you know, it's it's nothing new in the sense of like uh, what you're getting out of a Zelda game, really, because it's a pretty standard story. Evil comes and Link and Zelda have to team up to fight the evil back, and you're going to the desert temple, you're going to the Death Mountain, you're going to um, Hyrule Castle, etc., etc. Kakariko Village is there, um, so that a lot of that is uh, pretty pretty tame when you consider it in the sense of a Zelda game. But with this combat, it like completely transforms the actual act of exploring and moving around Hyrule, um, stuff like that. There are little uh, there are tons of secrets, like you're collecting heart pieces just like in Zelda, and you're going into like crypts, and there'll be little puzzles down there that you need to figure out. Sometimes you need to get special items in order to use it, so it'll mark it on your map, and then let you know that you have to go back there if like there's still a treasure chest there that you need to unlock or something like that. And it's just like between I've huge Legend of Zelda fan. So between that nostalgia mixed with this like active combat, it just pulled me in and kept me going, like really from start to finish. I only put it down for the Sinking City, which we'll talk about in a little while here. Otherwise I probably would have finished it even sooner. And like it looks amazing, like the pixel art. Like I said, if this was just a hack and slash like Zelda, typical 2D Zelda is, you would look at it and you'd be like, oh, Nintendo made this. There's no like there's literally no difference there. Like in terms, like it looks like A Link to the Past or recently A Link Between Worlds, and even kind of the progression on that is similar as well. It has all the normal stuff like the hook shot and the bow and the shield and stuff like that. So it checks all those boxes and then just nails it with the combat mechanics. And like when I first started playing, I was having a hard time with the beat movement in combat, because if you move off the beat, you get like a little bit of a time penalty. You basically lose a step, and that can put you at a disadvantage when you're dealing with the AI, which doesn't miss a beat. So when I first started out, I actually turned on, you can go into the settings and there's a basically turn the beat off mode. If you are having trouble with the beat mechanic. And basically what that turns the game into is a turn-based action game. So when you move, nothing moves unless you move. So if you take a step forward, then all of the enemies move on their pattern. Then you take another step forward and they'll move again. So it actually transforms the game into something completely different, which is interesting. It's even, in my opinion, it's worth, if you've beat the game on the beat mode, it's worth going back and trying it the other way too, because it really does change the game up a lot. It takes like the time pressure off of it, because otherwise, if you're just standing still in the beat mode, all the enemies are still moving in accordance with the beat. So they can put you, like they can surround you and attack you, because they are actively trying to attack you. But the no beat mode, like I said, they only move if you move, so it gives you a little time to breathe. But it also creates almost like a turn-based puzzle game, a little bit to figure out like what's that?
Is that your preferred mode, do you think? No,
I ended up going back to the beat mode once I got the mechanics down. Once I got a feel for it. So I mean that's kind of like my suggestion is, if you're having a hard time with it, is turn that mode on. Clear some screens, get a feel for the combat and how it all works. Find a weapon maybe that you like, because there are a bunch of different kinds of weapons. And then turn it back on and see how you do. Because when it all comes together with the beat, going on the beat and predicting where the enemy movements are and almost thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead, that's where the game really starts to come together. And like I said, it just like, it's kind of all consuming, because you're listening to the music, you're watching the visuals, you're trying to keep tempo with the beat, and it really It's really something special. And it's really cool that Nintendo just kind of let them do it. They gave them the license, and this isn't like a developed in conjunction with this studio. This is like this studio made this game, and it's technically a Crypt of the Necrodancer game, just with the Legend of Zelda like kind of aesthetic applied to it.
Yeah.
So if you got a Switch and you are interested in picking it up, I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's probably going to be on my list of games of the year, that's for sure. Thank you for joining us on this very special episode of Voxel Viewpoint. If you'd like to hear or see more, please consider subscribing to us on your favorite podcast app, subscribing to us on YouTube, or visiting voxelvoice.com, where all of our great content comes together in one place. Also check out the Voxel Voice Facebook group, where you can join in on the discussion with a great, like-minded community.